All right. Time is 12:05. Yes, yes, yes. At 12:06 on what is a delightful Thursday. My goodness, folks. God is good. Good afternoon. You're listening to the John DePetro Show. This is the Noon Report. I want to welcome in everyone that is tuning in, part of our live simulcast that we do on our Facebook page, John DePetro Show, that continues, folks, is the everyone's anxiously awaiting getting very close to 50,000 followers on the page. And then it's if you watch the momentum, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's averaging about 1,000 new people a month. So think about that just for a moment. So good afternoon. There's Josh Allen Cooney. There's Samantha. Thank you for the stars in advance. Thank you, Jonna. Folks, again, in I have so much news to get to, but again, it is a delightful Thursday. There's Gina. Gina Molina. I got to come up with a song for that. There's Diane and everyone. Please share that you are watching. And remember, for those that are not, folks, more of the content is going subscriber only. I've had it with some of the general public. You look at the state of media right now, and whether you're listening to the radio or watching on Facebook. Now, also, I get it, because I get email every day. One, not everyone's on. Okay, all right, the YouTube channel is there, right? We're also on Spotify. One is where the people are. We're also on TikTok. The website is crying out loud free. But look at the state of things right now, right? Who is reading the Providence Journal anymore? Anyone? The sports section is now the high school sports section. Is there anyone reading the Providence Journal anymore? Do you ever see them hiring anyone anymore? Look at the exodus of television news. Every single week, more local television news people are leaving. Do I have to go through all the names? Just in the last, maybe I'll start to keep track if you can. Folks, we are the opposite. Juan is the leader of the new media. Howard Stern was king of all media. Juan is the leader of the new media. Maybe king of new media. No, just leader, the chosen one of new media, which is instant. We are where you are. Unfiltered, uncensored. You know, the media, their form of doing things, it's outdated. We're on the cutting edge. You know, I am close to 25,000 followers on TikTok, and we just started doing that. That's only going to get bigger. YouTube, unbelievable growth in YouTube with the show right now. And then, of course, Facebook Live, and the Facebook Live just continues to be great. So thank you. Now, again, though, for those that are watching, or maybe you're listening, become a subscriber. For crying out loud, it's 24 cents a week. Because when you start to do it, and agree to go through the program of having a subscriber base. Unbeknownst to Juan, Facebook locks you in at that. So as we were debating it, right, somebody said, well, maybe we should do $2.99. And you know what? I don't even remember how we got to 99 cents a month. I should have been paying more attention in that meeting, for crying out loud. But anyhow, it probably now should be $3.99 or $4.99, something like that. But be that as it may, it is what it is. It's 24 cents a week. I kid you not. 99 cents a month. But I am telling you, more of it's going to the subscriber base. It's just going to be subscriber. And they're already, if you are a subscriber, thank you. And what some people don't realize is they just get more they get more material, and more of it's going to go there. Because I've had it with the low IQ crowd, the low information voter, as Rush used to call them, the people that have no clue the page is not for them. I told you, there's nothing wrong with a game of checkers. Some people prefer, a little more something like chess, a little more challenging. So, so there's going to be more of that, but I'm more and more things. And by the way, more things are already going to subscribers only. If some people compare, someone contacted me in all fairness, before I get to our topic at hand, and said, my sister seems to get, she's seeing stuff that I'm not. I said, yeah, your sister is a subscriber. You are not. Period, end of story. But anyhow, be that as it may. Folks, this portion of the program, and there's several things we're going to talk about, and this is the noon report, so I'd like to bring you up to speed on what's going on. Now, in the first hour of the radio program, obviously, some of the legal stuff, and I will touch on Trump on CNN last night. That was a home run for the Trump campaign, as I predicted. I said it was a good idea for him to do that. I got nasty email from some people who are Trump supporters. Oh, this is a trap. You're, names I won't even use. Names that are not radio language friendly. About how you're an idiot, blah, blah, blah. It's a trap. What's wrong with you? What are you, stupid? Well, who had the last laugh last night? He did. But folks, this portion of the program is brought to you by PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. They're terrific. They work hard. It's a local business. Shop local. Juan always shops local. Forget the chains. I'm not a chain person. Nope. First of all, I was never a gold chain person growing up in Cranston, but certainly not a chain person. PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, and more of you are stopping in there and saying, hey, I watch, Juan After Dark. I support the show. Thank you for supporting. Folks, and with good reason. I mean, it's quality. It's also, right now, they have vegetables and herbs, annuals, perennials, beautiful, like out of a magazine. Hanger, 10-inch, 12-inch moss baskets, 12-inch patio pots. They work so hard. It's quality merchandise, and the service is first rate. And tropical hibiscus, mandevilla plants. Mother's Day coming up this weekend. Folks, pop by PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown. And they are, you can also find them on Facebook. All right, so people are buzzing about the website, depetro.com. I get it. Of course I know. And we have such a talented crew there, especially Sal, who's one of our creative people there. But you can see all the original stories. The Carbuncle Pond murder bombshell that then was revealed in court once again. There was a local reporter who was like, how are you so far ahead on everything? And I'm going to answer that. And you also see the video in North Kingstown, police standoff, Cranston PD Live, tomorrow night. We're back. Juan and the Paisan in Cranston, and it's supposed to be 80 degrees tomorrow, so it should be a good episode. And then everything about Charlotte Lester as the 1-year anniversary comes up on Tuesday. I want you to understand, because I was discussing someone, local media, I won't say who, they work in television, and Juan was not being arrogant about it, but they were saying, how do you find out these things? And without wasn't being, I wasn't talking down to them, but I wasn't certainly trying to insult them in any way, and I wasn't patronizing them. But what I explained that many of you would know is when we go into a story, because I don't always do it alone, I have people that help me, but I said the difference is you're assigned to go cover a story. Okay, your TV station, right? They say they're in the morning meeting, so-and-so, you're going to go out and cover whatever, right? You're just assigned to cover the story. Therefore, you're only giving the information that the authorities are giving out. I said what's different about what we do, because I'm not alone. I have other people that work with me. I'm the one out front, so to speak, but I said what we do is we investigate the story. That's the difference. I didn't just cover the Charlotte Lester case. We investigated the Charlotte Lester case. So you get far more information about the case. You get more vested in the case. And people that have real information tend to then, that I find, share it with you. We put in action what I call you flood the zone, which is you go all in on a story. That's a style that I'm comfortable with. That is a style that I've always liked. When I get addicted to a story, good example was OJ. That was the coverage. Geraldo, by the way, used to have a great show on CNBC covering OJ. Court TV. That is the type of coverage I like, where you get to know the case in and out. I really had a chance to demonstrate it with Operation Pluterdome. No one knew more about that than I did, because you go inside and investigate the case. You don't just cover it. I was working down the dial, and I had a colleague who only would know what was then reported, right? That was in the Providence Journal, or Jim Tarracani was breaking a lot of news with Pluterdome, Jack White. But it's you investigate the story. So Charlotte Lester, okay, a woman went missing. Her truck was found, dog was found. According to local TV news, if you just go by what the authorities, Warwick police have given nothing, then that's the story. We've obviously learned there's far more to the story. We've uncovered more in the story. And even, yesterday, a member of the media said to me, that story's over. I said, again, all due respect, not trying to be adversarial here. It's really just beginning, because there will be an arrest made in that case. Look at what went into that Carbuncle. Carbuncle Pond is the same way. Many of you that follow the program know. We were just so far ahead on that story, and continue to be. I can't always share everything in real time. I'm very sensitive to investigations, very sensitive to family sometimes. but that is another example of some things that will still come out in that. And the state police, and I mentioned that with our legal expert attorney Tim Dodd. I mean, it is remarkable with cell phone towers and cameras and video. They literally could trace the steps of that whole, those two goons that took out that poor woman. The Providence Journal story today, they left out something really important. I was kind of surprised. That reporter, he's okay. Doesn't really talk to me. That's fine. But he left out that they switched places. That when they pulled up to her house, and that was really important, that Gary got behind the wheel, because it would certainly, then when they later, I'm not talking in code a little bit, but if you follow the story, they went to Buttonwoods, and then when they went to the 7-Eleven, that guy, Lambert, was examining his hand, and there were abrasions and cuts. So, but what's missing is that they switch places. An eyewitness saw them switch places, so Gary, the goon, the bald-headed loser, is driving, and then, it's just, I don't know how you leave that out, right? So, anyhow. All right, now, I'm going to touch on the Warwick situation, and I feel bad for the people in Warwick. And you need to encourage your mayor, though. You need to encourage Mayor Picozzi. And I also just want to touch on something else, folks, that, we move very fast. We do. I understand that. I have people that are still commenting on the blanking coyote. Those are not coyote. Yeah, no kidding. Why are you commenting on a post from 3 weeks ago? But anyhow, I recognize we move fast, because the news moves fast. And we do things in real time. It's funny, I had someone on YouTube post, you repeat things a lot. I like your stuff and your videos, you repeat things a lot. I said, well, you're watching it taped. Many times when we're live, it's happening in real time. There are constantly new people coming on. And what do they say? What's going on here? So you try to recap for everybody. But folks, this portion of the John depetro Show is brought to you by AtMed Urgent Care. Now listen, when you need emergency care, AtMed Urgent Care. 2 locations. I've been to both. I've been treated at both. East Greenwich, 1524 Atwood Avenue in Johnston in the Atwood Medical Center. AtMed Urgent Care. 7 days a week, doctors and nurses. And both times I went, I was treated in less than 30 minutes. Less than 30 minutes. ATMED, at Med Urgent Care. If someone's injured at work, if there's a car accident, they do immunizations. They do it all. At Med Urgent Care. The cost efficient, their services are diverse, wide ranging, blood tests, immunization, school sports physicals, at Med, minor surgical, orthopedic, and trauma, at Med Urgent Care. Stop it and see them. Well, next time if you have urgent care. Now, again, here's the thing. If you don't need urgent care, then you're not going to go. But next time someone needs urgent care, you want to recommend at Med Urgent Care. And you can find them online if you want to read more about them or just have their website handy, so to speak. Because you never know when something might happen and suddenly you have an emergency on their hands. But the website online is at medurgentcare.net. So I do want to talk about the work situation. But folks, I also just want to mention. So, obviously a video that's gotten a lot of attention this week was the video in the individual Monday, Branch Avenue, right, climbs up on a UPS truck. And friends and family are going ballistic. I don't understand that. They've been critical of Juan. When Channel 10, if you listen to the Channel 10 report, which I could play, Dan Janik, they're like mocking the thing. That was on Channel 10. They even named the individual on Channel 10. I didn't name the individual. So, but let's just be really clear. And I posted this because it was perplexing. Like they were so going out of their way to say there were no drugs involved. That is, and what you have to look at is, as a police officer reminded me, and not to be mean, but that individual has certainly had many run-ins with the law, out on, most likely, parole. And if you're out on parole and you violate the terms of your parole, what happens? You get locked up. So, therefore, you would have people, maybe well-intentioned, running cover, trying to say, there's no drugs. Okay, well, the police thought there were drugs. People around there thought there were drugs. The individual, some other individual who was on scene thought. There was certainly the reaction of someone that is either coming down and is desiring drugs or had a bad effect of drugs. But it is this business of drugs are rampant right now in not only in society, but specifically in Rhode Island. But I want to remind people, someone makes the decision to snort meth or smoke meth or whatever. Let's just remember, it's an adult who makes the decision to do that drug. Mental illness, hold on the mental illness. I didn't say people that develop a heroin problem. Of course it's addictive. Look what it does to someone's body. I've said in the past, I interviewed this guy, he did meth. He said 2 years later, he could still feel it in the veins in his arms. It is poison. But there's a difference between a child born with a birth defect or with a very serious disease, leukemia, cancer, whatever, heart defect, brain defect, lung defect. It's a world of difference between that and an adult that says, I think I'd like to smoke some heroin. I think I'd like to snort some opioid. I think I'd like to try some meth. And as I was saying last night when we were live, I believe there should be more of an effort to, they all mocked it in the 80s. Just say no. Say no to drugs. Notice you don't see those commercials anymore. Here's your brain, and then they'd crack the egg, and here's your brain on drugs. You don't even see that anymore. Governor McKee, well, the revenue we're going to get from cannabis, you're leading people down a wrong path. Folks, for those in society that demand more freedom, you're getting it. But the problem is, how are people handling it? I told you, there's a guy suing. He's suing a casino because he's got a gambling problem, and the casino let him wager some bets. Think of that. Gambling is outlawed. I'm an adult. I should have the right to place a bet on a football game. Okay. Place a bet on a football game. Well, now I'm going to sue you because I have a gambling problem. You never should have let me do that. Like, what is this? I should have the right to bone up and have cannabis and have a bong, and I'm going to, all right, do that. Well, now you have to find me a place to live, and you have to feed me because now I'm depressed from smoking all this weed, and I don't have a girlfriend, and I don't have a job, and I have no place to live. So now you have to take care of me because I decided that I really wanted to smoke a lot of pot. Like, what? Where is all this leading? No accountability. But this business of people running cover of, and it begins and ends, and I posted it, and I've heard from different police, like, give me a break. Oh yeah, someone, no, that was just a manic episode. Yeah, is that why there was shoplifting involved in the past and felony assault and all these other things? Blaming us for it? How's that been working out for that individual? Ludicrous. No. When one is on parole. Well, you were arrested for trespassing. Yes, I was, and I didn't leap up on top of a delivery truck. Common parole conditions. Maintain employment in a residence. Avoid criminal activity in contact with any victims. What's number 3? Refrain from drug, sometimes alcohol use. Attend drug or alcohol recovery meetings and not leave a certain area. So in other words, and I'm going to move on to the Motel 6 story here. So someone who may have, just as a pure hypothetical, an embarrassing public episode of a reaction to drugs or lack of drugs could result technically in someone violating parole, therefore most likely being locked up. Therefore, it's not drugs. It's not drugs. Someone drove past and they had a Trump bumper sticker and the person was just, but it's not drugs. It's not, that's like, remember Judge Kavanaugh? Trump was so funny with Judge Kavanaugh. Like, where was the house? I don't know. Who was there? I don't remember. When was this? I don't know. But I had one drink. I remember I had one drink. Who was there? I don't remember. Who drove you there? I don't know. How'd you get home? I don't remember. What was the date? I don't know. But I remember I had one drink. Upstairs, downstairs. But it wasn't drugs. It's certain, nope, not drugs. Nope. Nope. Not drugs. Well, that's a relief. Folks, this portion of the John DePetro Show is brought to you by Falcon Pest Services. Ants, roaches, mosquitoes, mice, rats, bedbugs, termites. Get rid of them. I know you're an animal lover. Falcon Pest Services, serving Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Call today. Free consultation. Call John and Kelly at Falcon Pest Services, 401-739-1322. 401-739-1322. Falcon Pest Services. For your home, for your business, for your restaurant, office building, restaurant, what have you. Falcon Pest Services. Well, folks, good afternoon at 12:29. You're listening to the John DePetro Show on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. So there's definitely a running there's different running narratives that are going on in both media and certainly from, without question, the progressive left. And I'll admit, a lot of the individuals that support some of these causes, I'll say this one thing, they're certainly getting more aggressive with how they try to attack their talking points and what's happening right now. And I'm anxious to see how the mayor of Warwick is going to handle this. But I'm going to be the first one. I'll be the first one, right? I don't care. I'm going to be the first one. What the state of Rhode Island is doing, and right now it's 12:30 on this Thursday, and whether it is Zambarano or what they're going to do in Warwick, You have a right to object. They want to shame you and convince you you have no right to say anything, and there's something wrong with you if you say something. And I completely reject that. Warwick Mayor, 55 homeless people are moving into Motel 6. There's so much wrong with that. There's so much wrong with that. Starting with the fact that I'll tell you what's going on, and it's kind of the same as Zambarano, is the state is now getting into the adoption. They're getting into adoption, and they're adopting adults. They're adopting adults. 55. I have a problem with the headline. Homeless people are being moved to Motel 6. These are the people at the Cranston Street Armory. Let's just be really clear. And I've said this before. I have a problem with the term. We need another term. This is wrong on so many different levels. They are individuals who want and demand free housing. They are people. Do you think anyone chooses to be homeless? Yes. How dare you? There's something wrong with you. They do. I interviewed someone on the program last spring. Someone perfectly capable of working, maintaining a job, could have the opts not to. She doesn't want the responsibility. She'd rather just go around and be irresponsible. And more things are popping up. You're aiding and abetting these people. The state is now responsible for them. What are these 55 individuals being told? Don't worry about work. Don't worry about a job. We're going to handle it. We're going to get you a free place to stay. And I don't care about the free cable TV. I mean, Motel 6, why that business would allow this to go in. Never mind the state's going to pay for it. But you have to worry about incentive. Anyone that runs a business, what is the incentive for those individuals to actually go out and seek employment? What is the incentive for those individuals to try to work, pay rent, save money, and live a responsible life? Nothing. They're just a drain on society. Because we're told, put the title right there. They're homeless, which means can't attack. Oh, no way. Hands off. Nope, can't knock them. Take it away. If you do that, that could be any one of us. But how about it? The Cranston Street Armory. These degenerates were actually, they weren't even using the bathroom properly. Urinating in the corner, urinating on the floor, defecating on the floor. What is wrong? Like, what? How about all the homeless encampments? They're total slobs. There's no excuse to be a slob. Listen, either get them drug rehabilitation, or it should be tied to work. You can live here, but you must maintain working 30 hours a week. I don't know, 25 hours a week. Something. 55 people. So the state's going to transport them down here. What are they, refugees? Folks, last March, as I was in Eastern Europe, people, well-dressed, well-behaved, children, dogs from Ukraine, bombed out of their home, bombed out of their business. They are forced to go to another country to live. They were homeless. They were refugees. They were not slobs. They maintained themselves a certain way. They also weren't drug users, not that I saw. They weren't alcoholics. All this, Governor McKee, he's now the father homeless. He's now adopting all these adults. And I told you, there's nothing, that's not why you're put on this earth. These people they're wasting their time. They're drain on society. And I can't believe the number of enablers they have now. And they continue this myth. That could be any one of us. They all have mental health problems. Oh, they have drugs. If they have mental health problems and drug problems, why are we putting them at Motel 6? Why do the people of Warwick now have to absorb this? Why do the people that live near Zambarano have to absorb this? That's not even an attempt at a solution. Ready? Does anyone think what's going to happen after the summer? What are they going back to the armory? Don't you understand what's happening? They're not homeless. They're individuals who are demanding or expect or want free housing. Make no mistake about it. There's a pack of them on the West Coast. In California, they're building them homes. That's going to be the new thing. This is the Democrat model, which is these homeless pallets that they build for them. They're like a shed, and they live in there. And by the way, I see some of the comments of people on social media, even on my own page, where people that say, I think in this country, everyone should be given housing, everyone should be given a home. I want to remind people right now, if you're either watching or listening to the radio at 12:35, I want to remind people, you are more than welcome right now, wherever you are yelling at the radio saying I'm wrong. You go drive downtown or drive to a lot of intersections around Pawtucket, certainly. You're going to see panhandlers. You are more than free to give them your life savings and give them as much money as you possibly can. Totally free to do that. Great. Fantastic. But this business of we're not doing enough to help these people, if there are adults that and a lot of them, I did a thing where I went to the homeless village that they had set up. Those were young guys. They were all late teens, early 20s, bumming around, crashing there, smoking weed. They had a car. They knew where to get free meals. They didn't want to work. They were lazy. How dare you say that? They're victims. They're homeless. No. That's not. And they're missing valuable time because they're going to go in front of an employer some point. So what have you been doing the past few years? Oh, I was at Motel 6. We were kind of partying it up. We were boning up, smoking some weed, did a little meth. Experience, okay. Panhandling experience, that's good to know. So maybe, hey, I'm a people person. McKee, this is worse than a Band-Aid. Because what is the message here? The message here is don't worry about working. We'll take care of you. Nope, we're going to take care of you. What was the problem at the State House? They were finding a lot of needles. What was the problem at the underpass? They were finding a lot of needles. What's the problem with a lot of these homeless encampments? There's a lot of needles. Those people are people that are in need of drug rehabilitation. I am all for that, but it's not everybody. It's not everybody. It's not everybody. There are people that are saying, it's not great, but I can make it work. Right? We're just gonna get there. It's not the best, but the good part about it is I don't have to go to work. I don't have to answer to anybody. They live a very selfish, childlike experience, and the element of being a slob and how they just throw and leave all that garbage behind. It's truly disgraceful. It is absolutely disgraceful. Folks, this portion of the John depetro Show, it's brought to you by Limitless Outdoors. Call them today. Call Chris. They're based in Smithfield, 401-580-1852. Limitless Outdoors, because it's truly limitless what they can do. It starts with a phone call. They come out to your home. Let's have a discussion what you can do with your space. Design your outdoor space, fit your lifestyle. Maybe it's a beautiful patio. Maybe it's a walkway. Steps, outdoor kitchens, landscape lighting, retaining walls, lawn installation, excavation, outdoor fireplace and kitchen. Doesn't that sound great? Dream, build, enjoy. Call Chris. Free quote. They're based in Smithfield. Limitless Outdoors. 401-580-1852. 401-580-1852 for Limitless Outdoors. The citizens of Warwick, should rise up. Let's just be really clear what's happening here. McKee was trying to put them down in Cranston. And Mayor Hopkins and the council said, not so fast. And they scared him off. So he was going to try to bully his way over the mayor of Warwick. 55 people. As if Motel 6 off Jefferson Boulevard needs more people going in there. But the media is also to blame. The media has to stop this narrative of the term homelessness. That's not what it is. It's those, in the Green New Deal, they actually had the term for them. The Bernie Sanders AOC, the term they chose was those who choose not to work. That's what it is. That's how they're listed in the Green New Deal. Those who choose not to work are given. It's like communism. It's like in Cuba. The government comes by once a month and they throw people the food. It's terrible, horrible. But it's a communist way of life. It's Venezuela. It's those who choose not to work. That's what it is. But stop calling them homeless. They are unhoused, but they don't want low-income housing. They want free housing. They want free housing. Rent has always been a big issue. It was the play and musical out of New York. Rent. It all comes down to that. But it's not low-income housing. It's no-income housing. It's people saying, I don't want to work. I'm getting a small amount of a disability check, and I just want to be like on vacation all the time and smoke weed or drink or gamble or do whatever the hell they do. But stop calling them homeless, because they're not homeless. Do you think anyone's homeless by choice? Yes. Yes. And I also think the police get a bad rap, and I think the police need our support. I also think the media is biased. The media likes the narrative. The media cuddles the criminals. Yes, yes, I believe all those things. Folks, this portion of the John DePetro Show brought to you by Ryan's Appliance Repair. Call today, 401-710-7096. Our friend Ryan, small business guy, family-run business. Hey, 6 days a week, they do Saturday appointments. One Saturday morning, I went to use the dryer, and I think I accidentally broke the dryer because I put on a load and it was too heavy and it needed a new belt. So what did I do? Did I try to fix it? No. Did I need to buy a new dryer? No. I called Ryan, 401-710-7096. You can find him on Facebook, Ryan's Appliance Repair. It's like, Juan, I think I know what it is. It was kind of embarrassing. He fixed it in less than 10 minutes. But he could fix your washing machine. He could fix your oven, refrigerator. Ryan's Appliance Repair. You paid good money for the appliance. Why not have it working? Many times when he goes into a home, there's 3 appliances that need to be fixed. Ryan's Appliance Repair. 401-710-7096. Well, folks, I want to touch on and again, I just, the McKee stuff is just not going away. So I'm looking at the headline right now. CNN outfoxes Fox. CNN's Oliver Darcy reports the CEO are facing furious criticism within company after Trump town hall. But who won the night? That's what I want to see. Let me say this. What I find most appalling about the Trump town hall last night on CNN is the reaction of the AOCs, a lot of the criticism in the media, and if you go on Twitter, the people, goodbye CNN, boycott CNN, MAGA crowd cheers, Trump plays greatest hits, Chris Light of CNN defends the circus, staff rebels. I say good for him. I mean it. I think what CNN did last night, what did they do? Think of AOC. They should not allow him in there. Nope, this is Justin Katz and I talk about this. Nope, you don't deserve, you don't have the right, nope, no more talking. Right? This is Seth Magaziner. This is Tierra Mack. This is, unfortunately, the people that run the Rhode Island State House. Nope, no talking. No, you're not allowed to speak. That's their attitude. He is the leading Republican presidential candidate. What did CNN do? And that Caitlin Collins, I know that some people are taking shots at her. It's so unfair to Caitlin Collins. She was asking the questions. The answers are the answers. This is what's playing out in the criticism of CNN, which is so unfair, is the answer is the answer. It is not up to the media to decide what the answer should be. You ask the question, and then the answer is the answer. Right? If you're doing an interview, a town hall meeting with Bernie Sanders or AOC and Elizabeth Warren, if they start saying they believe the tax rate should be 70%, asked, answered. That's their answer. It's not up to the moderator to start beating that out of them. President Trump said what he believes. And guess what? The crowd was cheering. The reaction and the backlash on CNN. No thanks, CNN. Boycott CNN. Trump sending CNN. These people are demented. He's not, it's not Kanye that's up there. It's the leading, for better or worse. And he did great. That was a home run last night. CNN host sues Trump for assault and defamation after town hall. That's Babylon B. It was absolutely a win, as I predicted it would be. Some of the email I got from some people. He should not be going on. You don't think he can handle himself? CNN's Trump town hall was essentially a campaign rally. Would they be saying the same thing if that was Kamala Harris and it was a fawning crowd and she put out all the lies about George Floyd and policing and the border? Listen, is there a bigger liar right now in politics than David Cicilline? Pathological liar as the mayor of Providence. Pathological liar in Congress. When he goes on, he's not going to do them anymore, but when he would do an interview, all they can do is ask the questions. And I'll even interject. I recently interviewed Dr. Mata. There were people, I should have what? I asked the question. That's his answer. Folks, it's like Jeopardy. Or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Finally, that's the answer. Do you think the 2020 election was... Yes, he gave his answer. What do you want from her? I thought CNN handpicked the crowd. Yeah, it was supposed to be Republicans. It's going to be a Republican primary. These people are deranged. Well, this is... Enough with the bad for democracy. I am so sick of hearing what's bad for democracy. If these people cared what was harmful to democracy, you wouldn't have the ballot harvesting. There's nothing richer, meaning, so rich then, the irony of the Rhode Island crowd, right? Governor McKee, folks, shouldn't even be the governor right now with the ballot harvesting. And the same thing for Seth Magaziner. These people have no credibility. They don't care that illegals vote. They don't care that people vote twice. They don't care that people feel voting is a waste of time. Don't start telling us about democracy and the attack on democracy. Ridiculous. Of course he did great. And you know what? And then, I know then they were doing follow-up and some people were upset at that. But, of course the audience, do you think, is Kamala Harris, are they going to put her up in front of, they can't even put her up in front of independents. It's a Republican primary. You want people who would be inclined to vote in a Republican primary. All of this attacking. And I thought President Trump, when he was at his best, was when he talked about, we were energy independent and the economy. Here's what I know. There is no one happy right now or want 4 more years of Biden-Harris. Okay, the Republicans are going to have their primary, and then they'll choose the candidate they want to represent them in the November 2024 election. That's it. And it's going to be done peacefully and legitimately. The stuff he said about J6 was right on the money. He is 100% right about inflation. What they're so upset about is that Trump popped the balloon of their narrative. They can't stand that people liked when he was in office. They can't stand his appeal. Listen, as someone that has been in the room with him and met him and interviewed him, I've told people he is hilarious. He is so charismatic. He is an amazing, one-of-a-kind individual. And as people are looking at the direction of the country, right, what's going on at the border, price of eggs and groceries and inflation and people like McKee just throwing money around. Ridiculous. They're starting to say, you know what? There was a little bit of noise, but we made more money. Country was safe, was on firm footing. Maybe if given a choice, more people are saying, I think I'd like to go back to the way it was with the Trump years. It is now up to the Democrat Party to choose a ticket that's going to challenge him. That's what it's going to be. But they're almost acting as if the Republicans don't have a right to pick who the leader is going to be, who's going to be the nominee. President Trump is way ahead. I have given a lot of coverage on this program to the governor of Florida, Governor DeSantis. He is not, maybe he's not ready. He hasn't announced yet. So far, the field is clear. And last night, as I have said in the past, I thought it was a great idea. And all this internal complaining at CNN, wait till they see the ratings. MSNBC's all upset. Wait till they see the ratings. They're out of touch. See, they don't get what's going on. You know, you're not going to protest in front of a liquor store about Bud Light. You're just not going to go and buy it. That's what it comes down to. You don't want to get into an argument. I hear it from people all the time. And folks, I get tired of it. These people that start attacking. Who wouldn't get tired of it? Of course they were cheering him. The staff is rebelling. And go where? Go where? He shouldn't have been on CNN. I applaud CNN for doing that. I do. And I don't, people shouldn't be criticizing. I think they should do another one. Let him. Caitlin Collins is asking the questions. Those are the answers he's giving. Hey, Biden. How about Biden? No, the border's secure. The border's fine. What should the reporter do? Stop the interview? Folks, it is asked, answered. And I sympathize with that. All right, so she was fact-checking him. CNN finds its new primetime star. That was a good way to launch her. Is Caitlin ready? She's better than a lot of the other people they have. Just the reaction, you know, it shows me 12 folks. Good afternoon at 12:52. You're listening to the John DePetro Show on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. You know, it shows me, and I can't wait actually, even though it's Thursday, on Monday when we do our segment on Mondays, Politics This Week with Justin Katz. You know, Justin and Justin has such great perception, and he's so on the money on things that what you're hearing, and we hear it locally, right? And the media appeases them. It's like that state senator, Tiara Mack, the twerking senator. She said there should be no criticism of her and her, you know, group. We are women of color. We've run for office. We are immune of criticism. There never should be anything negative. That is their mindset. They don't think if you disagree, you've never met a crowd. They are the least tolerant. The crowd that preaches tolerance and equity are the least tolerant. They have no interest in, quote, equity. Tolerant. They don't think the Republican frontrunner to be president for 2024 should be given an hour on primetime television to answer questions. Nope. Should not be. No speaking. They're so dementedly wrong and lost. I can't stand them. I really can't stand them. And I know some people ask me, you know, are you going to do more coverage of the State House? Folks, I'd rather go into some of the dangerous areas we go into and talk with some of the people we go and talk to than I hear from people, you know, a lot of the progressives at the State House don't like, yeah, well, what do you think? I hold them in high regard? Whatever feelings they have towards me, it's double that I have towards them. It's not even that I disagree with them. I despise them and I don't respect them. And they get so angry when they're exposed and when things blow up. Folks, by the way, check out the website, depetro.com. We have a new episode of Animal Officer coming up. You're going to love it. And depetro.com, brought to you by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. Lunch, dinner, drinks in the lounge. They're waiting for you at the Coesit Inn. Don't people, see, they just don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with it. And it's the progressives, whether it's McKee or whether it is Sabina Matos. We have to provide, think of that. We have to provide free abortions for everyone. Why? Why? What about the taxpayer that says, I don't want to pay for it? It's against my religious beliefs. I don't believe in it. Well, you must hate women. What about someone that is obese and develops diabetes? Should someone have to pay for their medicine, for their insulin? What about someone that develops a bad back? Should taxpayers pay for their bad back? You know, the preaching they do with this crowd. These people at Motel 6 from the Armory deserve free housing. Why? Why? Did Jesus preach that everyone should just not work and just sponge off society? The preachiness of this crowd. And it's McKee. And it is Sabina Matos, the lieutenant governor. And it's that Aaron Ruggenberg who's running for CD1. And it's that Seth Magaziner. The real bottom line is they have no interest. They do not believe in debate. They don't believe you should have your own opinion because they know what's best. But where they're tone deaf is when the public has a right and the public reacts. You know, many years ago, I've always been a Howard Stern fan, right? My older brother Bob used to listen to him on when Stern was on NBC in New York in the afternoon. One of the greatest lineups ever. Simus in the morning. I don't know about Soupy Sales, but then they had Stern in the afternoon on WNBC. And I remember being in the kitchen. We'd see my brother laughing, sitting in the driveway, because you could still get the old WNBC from where we lived in Edgewood. So, and then when I got older and moved to New York, I mean, I've always been a Stern fan. And Stern was driven away from the radio. And think of how he was casted out. He's not funny. No one should listen to him. And then everything changed. You know, with Stern, it used to be that if he told a joke and 100 people heard it, if 98 people thought it was funny, then it was fine. And then everything shifted. And then everything became, if there's 2 people, that, or 1 even, that claimed, quote, I am offended, that was enough. And they drove Stern out. And suddenly you have to get him on Sirius radio, right? Satellite radio. But my point is, it doesn't, the crowd, the public liked what he was putting out as a product, right? They liked it. They didn't, it wasn't that everyone didn't rebel against him. It was just the loud voices that pushed him off commercial radio. So my point is, where all the people that are criticizing CNN, and the progressive left especially, and Kamala Harris, and Biden, and McKee, and Matos, and Cicilline, who's leaving at the end of the month, and Magaziner. So they don't believe, they know what's best, you're not an adult, you shouldn't even be given a chance to speak. You should just listen. To be saying that the Republican frontrunner to be president, who right now and after last night is absolutely running away with the nomination. If there was any doubt about President Trump's ability to navigate the waters in the lead up to the nomination, he proved it last night. I mean, that was a showstopper. That was television history. And for those that of you followed him, it wasn't even, I mean, I could have answered all those questions just because I've seen him so many times. But it was a defining moment because the crowd was with him. President Trump last night showed he still has his fastball. He does. And he is a force. After last night, now I don't see anything stopping him. I don't. And I was communicating with one of his people this morning. Folks, here's what we're going to do. It's 12:59. We have another hour to go of the radio show. Much more to get to. I will be doing Facebook Live later on the Scene live stream. Cranston PD Live is tomorrow night. Right now, we're going to break for the 1 o'clock news. The big news is still that Trump town hall. It is now, forget it. To me, the nomination is over. I just think it's over. And the way the people reacted to him. Another full hour to go, radio only, AM 1380, 99.9 FM. You can listen on the website, depetro.com. Back on the other side after the 1 o'clock news.